We have been in a series, and tonight we're actually closing out this series as part 4 of a series we've been in titled Relationships. Everybody say relationships. Okay, this is what we've been talking about. We've been talking about relationships, okay, and we've discussed a lot over the last few weeks how relationships are huge. They're a big part of our lives. If you are within the sound of my voice, you have some kind of relationship surrounding you, whether that be with family or friends, okay? We talked about how also like some relationships we don't get to choose, specifically our family, but then others we do. Our dating relationships, our friendships, these relationships we get to choose. And so when it comes to those relationships, specifically the ones that we choose, it is so important that we choose wisely. It's so important that we choose wisely. Check this out. Proverbs 12, verse 26 says this: "The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray." The righteous should choose their friends wisely. Why? Because the wicked will lead you astray. You cannot be casual when it comes to your relationships. No room for it. If you are, then I need to remind you, maybe you had no idea, but if you're casual with your relationships and who you choose to link up with, there's a good chance that that relationship with that person will lead you astray. You need to make sure. You need to make sure and choose with wisdom who you're linking up with. We've been talking a lot about dating relationships, but there's an aspect to dating relationships that I want to hone in on tonight. Okay? A specific aspect of not only relationships, specifically your dating relationships, but even outside of that. And so the title for tonight's message, if you're taking notes, and what I want to do tonight is focus on friendship. Yeah. Focus on friendship. For a relationship to be fruitful, friendship needs to be at least a part of the foundation. Yeah. It needs to be a part of the foundation. This is the case for our earthly relationships and our heavenly relationship with God as well. Your earthly relationship should be based on friendship. And your heavenly relationship with God should be based on friendship. Check this out. Exodus 33:11 says this, verse 11, "The Lord would speak to Moses," aka the one that God used to free his people and part the Red Sea, you know, that guy that casually parted the sea. It says the Lord would speak to him, to Moses, face to face, as one speaks to a friend. The foundation of your relationship with not only people, your horizontal relationships, but your vertical relationship with God should be based on friendship. You're not going to have a fruitful relationship with God if you don't first understand that you're his friend. We'll get into that later. But what you need to know before we move on is friendship is the foundation of all fruitful relationships. Friendship is the foundation for all, everybody say all, fruitful relationships. So what do I mean by fruitful? Because some of you may be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Some of you may be like, I have absolutely no clue, dude. Fruitful, like fruit, like apples, bananas, all that good stuff? No. Okay, what I mean by fruitful is life-giving, productive, worthwhile, helpful, beneficial. Like it's good, it's effective, and it's rewarding, it's valuable. This is what it means to be fruitful in this context that we're talking about. A life-giving friendship, a productive friendship, a worthwhile friendship, a helpful, beneficial, valuable, rewarding, and effective friendship. A fruitful one, if you will. A fruitful one. I want to talk to you about the characteristics of a fruitful friend tonight, to help you identify and know what relationships in your life are fruitful. Okay, my prayer is that by the end of this message, you'll understand and at least have a better understanding, honestly, of the status of the relationships or the friendships that you have in your life, whether or not you need to let them go or keep them. I believe this is really going to help you out. You don't need a ton of friends, but you do need a few. Jesus had 12 disciples, right? He had people who followed him very consistently. But Jesus himself, amongst those 12, had just honestly 3 very super close friends that he let in close. 3. Peter, James, and John, okay? Jesus brought these 3 up to the mountain where Jesus was transfigured. His face was transfigured before them. Jesus brought these 3 to, with him when he went to go pray in the garden to watch out and pray, but they ended up snoozing on him, fell asleep. You ever had anybody just fall asleep on you when you needed them most? Okay? This is Jesus. He had 3 close friends that he let in close. And so you don't need a ton, but I would say, based on Jesus' example, I would say you at least need 3. At least surround yourself with 3 fruitful friends. They can be your age. They can be older than you. They could be a pastor. They could be a leader. They could be a best friend. They could be a teacher, a parent. You need at least 3 fruitful people in your life. Everybody say 3. Now, I have 2 questions that I want you to keep in mind as we discuss what it means to be a fruitful friend, okay, tonight. I want you to have 2 specific questions in mind. 1, am I surrounded by these kind of friends? And then 2, am I this kind of friend? And so tonight, we're going to discuss, like I said, we're going to discuss some characteristics of a fruitful friend. What does it actually look like to be a fruitful friend? I have 10 things. We're going to go through them pretty quick. Okay, so get ready to take some notes. Okay, but I believe this is going to help you out and really help you discern who is a fruitful friend in your life. And not only that, are you one? And so, number 1, you have to understand that a fruitful friend is number 1, loving. Loving. Everybody say loving. Proverbs 17:17 says this, a friend loves at all times. When? All times. And a brother is born for a time of adversity. A friend loves at all times. Are the friends you surround yourself with loving? Are they consistent with that love? Or are they back and forth? They love you one day and they don't the next. Are they consistent with their love towards you? And now, understand, I'm not talking about a feeling either. Because love is so much more than a feeling. Love is an action. Why? Because love expresses itself. Yeah. If someone loves you, guess what? They won't just talk about it, but they'll show it. Right. Talk is cheap, actions speak. Yeah. If someone truly loves you, they will show that love because love expresses itself. Are they patient and kind with you? We talked about the definition of love, Gavin, last week. We talked about it. Are they patient and kind? Or are they jealous, boastful, proud, and rude? Do they consider your thoughts? Or do they demand their own way? Do they actually listen to your input and care about what you say? Or is it constantly always their way? It has to be their way. Do they believe the best in you and hope for the best for you? Do you have friends in your life that love you this way? And do you love them as well? Patient, kind, not boastful, not arrogant, not rude, not proud. Do they love you? That's the first characteristic of a fruitful friend. You guys good? Yeah. All right, we're going through these. Number 2, respectful. A fruitful friend is, number 2, respectful. Everybody say respectful. Philippians 2:3 says this, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. Value others above yourselves. Everyone, I don't care who you are, naturally looks out for their own interests. Naturally. Your sinful nature naturally looks after itself first. But a fruitful friend values others above themselves. They value others, their friends, above themselves. Part of our sinful, rebellious nature is self-centeredness. But a fruitful friend is humble, not prideful. Therefore, they place the focus on others, not themselves. Therefore, they don't have to always be the leader. They don't always have to be the star of the show. They don't always have to have the attention on them. They're focused on you. Because a fruitful friend values you more than they do themselves. Doesn't mean they don't value themselves, but they value you higher. Do you have friends that value and respect you? Do you have friends that genuinely care about you? Before they say or do something, they consider how it will affect you. They actually stop for a second and say, how will this affect this person? My words and my actions. They give time and attention to your friendship. They think about you before themselves. Fruitful friends value others above themselves. Simply put, they have so much respect for you as a human being made in God's image that they value you higher than themselves. Number 3, a fruitful friend is a positive influence. A positive influence. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says this, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Good character. A fruitful friend is a positive influence. The things that they say and do are positive. They're helpful. They're beneficial. They're good. They're encouraging. Someone who leads you closer, not only to your God-given purpose, but to God himself, is a positive influence. They read their Bible. They're involved with the church. They worship God. They pray consistently. And they encourage you to do so as well. They're not doing things or going places they shouldn't be. They're not smoking and drinking when they shouldn't be. They're not bad-mouthing their parents or their guardians. But they're honoring them, even though they may not be the best. They're not getting you in trouble. They're not getting you to watch porn. Uh-oh. They're not getting you to watch that crap. Or objectifying or bad-mouthing women. Guys, that's not a fruitful friend. They are a positive influence. Everybody say positive. I have a question for you before we move on. If you were the average of the 5 people you spend around the most, a month from now, would you be closer in your relationship with Jesus or further away? That should help you out right there. Number 4, a fruitful friend is reliable. Everybody say reliable. Proverbs 18:24 says this, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin. But there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. A fruitful friend is someone you can rely on, simply put. You can rely on them. When they say they're going to do something, guess what? They do it. And you've been able to build trust with this person. Their actions align with the words that they speak. When life hits the fan or goes south, the fruitful friend is there to help you out. They're there for you. And you know that you can count on them in the moments when you need them most. They are consistent. They are faithful. They are trustworthy and dependable. A fruitful friend is reliable. You can count on them. You know when you call them up, they're going to answer. You know when you say, hey, I need you, they're there. This is a fruitful friend. Do you have these kind of people around you? 1. And 2, are you this kind of person? Can people count on you? Are you actually reliable? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Does your yes mean yes and your no mean no, as Jesus would put it? Number 5, a fruitful friend is forgiving. Forgiving. Colossians 3, verse 13 says this, make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Who? Anyone. Anyone who offends you. remember the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Jesus himself. If we're going to quote anybody, let's quote Jesus, okay? You can argue with me, but good luck arguing with that guy, okay? The one who created you. The Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. If you're truly going to follow Jesus and answer the call to follow him, you must forgive those around you as well. Why? Because you first have been forgiven. In any fruitful relationship, forgiveness must be present, especially when it comes to our earthly relationships. Why? Because if you guys didn't notice yet, we're all jacked up, okay? We're all messed up to some degree, okay? There has to be room for forgiveness in your relationships. Paul says, remember the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. And if you have been forgiven, then that means you've fallen short at some point. If God had to forgive you, that means, guess what? You're not perfect. That implies you messed up or fell short. Understand that others will at times fall short. Even that reliable friend. So in those moments when they do, because they're not perfect either, just like you, do you get bitter about them not answering your phone call? Do you get bitter about them not showing up when you needed them most? Do you get bitter about them not doing what they said they were going to do that one time? You're called to forgive. Now, this is two totally different people. I'm not talking about the person that's constantly and consistently not showing up, consistently avoiding your phone calls, consistently not showing up when you need them most. I'm not talking about that person. But the friend that is reliable, do you forgive them when they fall short? Because they will. And if you believe they won't, you're setting yourself up with false expectations. They're imperfect. People will fall short of your expectations. They'll miss a phone call at some point. There will be times when they won't be able to make it or be there when you hope they'd be. It shouldn't be often, but when it does, a fruitful friend forgives. Why? Because God forgave you first. Number 6, a fruitful friend is willing to make sacrifices. Is willing to make sacrifices. John 15, verse 13 says this: there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. Everybody say zero. Literally no greater way to express love than to lay down your life for your friend. None. Now Jesus is talking here. And in a nutshell, he's saying that there's no greater way to love someone than to lay down your life for them. And what I love about this is Jesus never tells us to do something that he hasn't already done or isn't willing to do. What's ironic about this is Jesus makes this statement talking to his friends, and then later on ends up dying on a cross, a brutal death for their sins. Actually doing what he's talking about. There's no greater love than to lay down your life for your friend. Now, is Jesus saying that in order to love your friend or to be a true friend, that you have to actually physically die for them? If it meant doing so, then there would be no greater act of love, first and foremost. But sacrificing looks a lot more than just laying down your life. Looks a lot more. To make sacrifices for someone is to give something up for them. Whether that be your life or something else. Maybe it's time. You were planning on doing something, but something came up with your friend. And so now you're having to give up your time for them. Maybe it's energy. Maybe you just got out of practice and you're really like, you want to go straight to bed. You don't want to be dealing with nobody, but your friend hits you up like, hey, I really need you. Guess what? A fruitful friend makes sacrifices. And so they give something up. They give up their energy. I may be tired right now, but I got you. What do you need? They give up sleep and their preferences for the other person. A fruitful friendship will include sacrifices. The severity of that will depend. But make no mistake, if you're a fruitful friend, if you're surrounded by a fruitful friend, there will be sacrifices. Number 7, loyal. Everybody say loyal. Proverbs 16:28 says, a perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. Now, how many of you know there's nothing worse in a relationship or a friendship than when that person, you find out that they're gossiping about you, saying things behind your back? Many of you have experienced this. There's nothing worse in a relationship than a friend who gossips about you. Gossip is poison and a guaranteed separator of even the closest of friends. I don't care how long you've known each other. I don't care how long you've been linked up to one another. I don't care how long. Once let gossip enter, I promise you that relationship will start to dissipate. Gossip separates even the closest of friends. A fruitful friendship is one of two people who are loyal to each other, no matter where they are or who they're talking to. They honor one another, respect one another, and consider one another enough to always, everybody say always, speak highly of the other. You may have offended me, you may have not shown up when I really needed you, but guess what? I'm a fruitful friend. Therefore, I'm not going to go to my other friends and talk bad about you. A fruitful friend doesn't do that. They don't gossip. A loyal friend will only speak facts about the other. And if there's something that one person doesn't want everyone to know, guess what? That fruitful friend doesn't spill the beans. They don't air out all your dirty laundry. Unless, everybody say unless. That thing that they're wanting to hide is endangering their life. If you're a true friend, a fruitful friend, you'll do whatever means possible if you find out so-and-so is thinking about suicide. So-and-so has been cutting themselves. So-and-so just took a full bottle of pills. So-and-so is not doing so good. A fruitful friend tells the right people. That could be a parent. That could be a pastor. That could be a leader. That could be the school counselor. That could be multiple people. But if it's not endangering, guess what? A fruitful friend keeps their mouth shut. Number 8, a fruitful friend sharpens you. A fruitful friend sharpens you. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Man, you need relationships that sharpen you. You need relationships that sharpen you. Just as bad company corrupts good character, a friend with good character brings out the best in you. A friend that sharpens you is a friend that pushes you to be all that God has called you to be. They don't slack with you. They're going to push you because they know the potential that is within you. They encourage you. They challenge you. They pray for you. They pray with you. They build you up. A friend that sharpens you is a friend that you can call, and that can call, honestly, that can call you out when you are not living up to the standard that you should be, or not doing something in an area that you should be doing. This could be Bible reading. Maybe you haven't been reading your Bible. Maybe you haven't been spending time with God. A fruitful friend will call you out on that. Hey, what are you doing? You need this. You need to be spending time with Him. Why haven't you been getting in your Bible lately? Maybe it's going to church. Maybe you haven't shown up. Guess what? A fruitful friend will call you and be like, where you at? Why didn't you show up today? Bro, you need community. What are you doing? Oh, you didn't feel like going. You didn't feel like going? Bro, you need to be here. You need this. You need community, a friend, a fruitful friend. Hear me clearly. Will call you to a higher standard. They don't care about your feelings. They care about the call that God's placed on your life. Some of the best friends that I've had in my life didn't care about my feelings. They cared way more about the call God had in my life, whether I liked what they had to say or not. You need a friend that sharpens you. Are you that kind of friend for those around you? Do you have people that can get up in your business and encourage you and call you to a higher standard? Number 9, supportive. A fruitful friend is supportive. Galatians 6:2 says, help carry one another's burdens, and in this way you will obey the law of Christ. Help carry one another's burdens. To help carry one another's burdens means to help carry other people's problems, their concerns, and difficult responsibilities. This is what it looks like to carry each other's burdens. A supportive friend helps in times when you're sick. Hey, you need me to run to the store real quick to grab you something? I got you. A fruitful friend does that. A supportive friend helps in times where you're experiencing deep sorrow. Maybe you just lost a loved one. Or you're struggling with deep depression. They're not the answer because Jesus is the answer, but guess what? They'll do what they can. Because a fruitful friend is supportive. A supportive friend helps in times when you don't have money. Maybe the group of guys or the group of girls are going out to eat. So-and-so doesn't have money. Guess what? A fruitful friend pays for them. So that they're not excluded from the group. A fruitful friend helps when you're lacking, regardless of the area. This kind of friend prays earnestly with sincere and intense conviction for others while also providing for their needs in a tangible and practical way. Let me give you a huge tip. This is gonna do so much for your witness for Jesus. Don't just pray for people. Pray for them, yes, please, for the love of Jesus, pray for them. But while you're at it, buy them some food too. Give them a drink. Pay for their meal. Don't just, that's great. Prayer is powerful. I love prayer. I need prayer. But you will not catch me praying for someone without providing for a practical need of theirs. We serve a God who provides practical needs. He's not just up in heaven praying for us, okay? His plans for you are good. Those things are in motion. Don't just pray for people. Provide for their tangible and practical needs as well. And lastly, number 10, a fruitful friend is wise. A fruitful friend is wise. Proverbs 13:20 says, whoever walks with the wise becomes what? Becomes what? Wise. But the companion of fools will suffer what? Harm. Now, the idea behind this passage is not to completely just disassociate with friends that are not wise, okay? But remember the context of what we're talking about. We're talking about people we're letting in close, people we're linking up with and doing life with. We're looking at patterns and their characteristics. When it comes to these friendships, it's important to observe their character over time. How have they been over the years? Have they learned from their experiences that almost ruined your friendship or possibly jeopardized your life? I had friends growing up in high school that almost put me in juvie because of their influence on my life. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they taking active steps to cultivate and create sound values in their life? Are they actually genuinely trying to get better? Or are they just content with life and where they're at? Are they drinking and not doing anything to keep themselves from environments that promote that? Are they struggling with that, but don't do anything to not put themselves in that position again? Are they struggling with porn, yet not doing anything to lead towards steps to freedom? What is wisdom? Wisdom is simply just applied knowledge. Do your friends that you surround yourself with actually apply the knowledge that they have in their head? Bro, you can talk about you know how to save money all day, but if you don't actually do it, you're not wise in that area. You can tell your friends don't sleep with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, but if you're over here doing it yourself, you're not wise. A fruitful friend is wise. And these are the many characteristics of a friend that will help create a life-giving relationship. Do your friends have these characteristics? And not only that, do you as well? Let's pray.